Mule and I have arrived to Tori-Bossito, a small village north of the capital Cotonou in the West African country of Benin. We have been invited to a farm called Jardin d'Espoir, which means the Garden of Hope, and we are talking to the manager Femí about the project they are doing here.
It's an agriculture information and production center, Femí. Can you tell us a little bit more about what this you're doing here actually?
Yeah, I mean, you said the Gardens of Hope, because we are a group of producers. We came together to create the organization. So our philosophy is kind of, we're doing agroecology, which is organic farming too. Year after year, these are thousands of tons of pesticides that are used in the country. And this has been like degrading the soils. This has been killing the people, because something is that the farmers will use the pesticide in the field on their farms. Those are illiterate. So when it comes to how we proportion the dosage of the pesticide, it's a burden for them. They don't know how to do it. So sometimes they poison themselves. Wow. And this has been going for years and years. So when we came out of university, it was kind of, okay, what can we do? Because it's not, those who import the pesticide, there are big people. I mean, they're very rich. We can fight against them, but we can go another way, which is how do we show the farmers how they can come back to the way they used to practice agriculture years back, before the introduction of pesticides. And you see those brothers there. Yeah, some of them, they are sons of farmers. Okay. So they come here, they learn, and they go back to replicate with their different families. Our farmers research is predominantly based on how we kind of bring back the way we used to keep the soil fertile, the way we used to practice agriculture in our custom, in our tradition, actually. And we will add some more knowledge. You see, coming from Western countries, there is a tremendous research and work done there on how to farm organically. So we mix them, and we practice them, we experiment them on our soil. And when it works, we just show the farmers, this is what we did. It works, so you can do it too. So this is, one of the techniques they use in a traditional system is how they grind horn. Okay. Because the horn contains nitrates. Because they used to grind it, to like pour it on their farms to fertilize it. Okay. They sometimes use also the dung from the cow to fertilize it. And something also they use is that they will use the moon. Yes, they will use the moon to practice agriculture. Because you see, when the moon is kind of crescent, when the crescent is like growing or coming down, there are some specific crops that will grow, or some that will not. They will not grow. So
is that like a spiritual thing, or is
like a spiritual thing actually, but it works actually, because the movement of the moon in the sky it also has much more influence on the type of the crop that we grow. Because when you take, for example, cassava grow as a root crop actually. So there are some specific moments when you cannot go, for example, and just clear the farm where cassava is. So they will use the horn, they will use the dung, and they will use also the moon to farm. But when we discovered the principle of biodynamic agriculture, we said, but this is what our people do. But because the principle of biodynamic agriculture is a combination of all those three. What do they say? You take horn, you put some dung inside, and you bury it from September to March, because this is the time where the forces of the cosmos work for the how can I say it, for the production of humus in the soil naturally.
So you just bury.
So you just bury this, and it acts as a catalyzer of those energies. So when you bring it up in March, for example, you just need a small quantity. You see, a small quantity like this that you dilute in, like, let's say 100 liters of water, and you just pour it on the soil.
Okay.
You see, so when we go back, for example, to the people to our parents in the village in the north, I mean, we say, okay, this thing you have been using for so far, it works actually, because people have been developing that in the principle of biodynamic agriculture. But instead of grinding the horn, or instead of pouring the dung on the soil, or instead of just watching the moon, you can combine it down.
Yeah.
You can just put it, bury, bring it up, and dilute and pour it on the ground.
And what you can bury them anywhere. It doesn't have to be in the beds.
No, you can bury them anywhere.
It's about digging them up again and use what inside has become.
Yes.
Okay.
That's it. That's it actually. So yeah, I mean, this is how we combine the ancestral knowledge and the knowledge that is coming from scientific research.
So if you have a cow horn at home, in Denmark we use cow horns to drink beer from.
Oh, beer.
Or our ancestors did anyway. But if you have a cow horn at home and you want to try to make a traditional fertilizer, you can fill it with dung and bury it from when exactly? When is it that you bury it?
September.
In September, and dig it up again in March.
In March.
And then mix it into the water.
Yes, in the water.
A horn like this goes to 100 liters of water.
Yes, 100 liters of
water. And then you can water your crops, and they will grow like crazy.
Sure.
In natural way.
Yeah.
Now we have seen one of the traditional ways that you teach the people to relearn how their ancestors were actually doing organic farming. But there is also new techniques coming from the outside, right? Yeah. Is there some techniques from anywhere else in the world that is new knowledge here in Africa that you're also teaching people to improve the way of organic agriculture?
Yeah, I mean, because one of the most important thing when you do agriculture is water. Yeah. So what is kind of new technology that we're bringing in is the irrigation system. But we also combine the traditional knowledge, except that the knowledge coming from outside is much more than the traditional that we have in this case. So how do we do it? We dig a well, as we used to do it traditionally. We dig a well and we just put an electric pump inside the water connected to pipe, which pumps the water up in a tank. And we use the gravity system to bring the water back with much more pressure in the garden. So this is one of the methods. So we have just the pipes connected to the tank, and when the water is coming down with much more pressure, the band is able to spread it up in the air, and it's able to water the crops. Yeah. Just 2 meter left and 2 meter right. Mm-hmm. So every 4 meter we have some vans which bring the water up. This is knowledge coming from outside, but in devising this technique, we put emphasis on how we promote our local industry. Okay. So except from the bands which come from outside of Benin, all the pipes, the van, the tank, and all the other stuff, the electric pump, are made here in Benin, are manufactured by Benin companies, industries, except the bands that is coming from outside.
That's great. Yeah. I can see it's not really a industrial farm where you just have one thing that works, where you plant a lot of this. It looks like you are trying to plant as many different things as possible. Is there a reason for that?
Yes, there's a reason. I mean, actually, if it's like a forest. You see the harmony in the primary forest. Mm-hmm. You see, in a square meter like this, you see you can find hundreds and hundreds of different species of plants, and each of them grow in its own way. And this brings the harmony, the balance inside the forest. So if you are able to increase the biodiversity, the diversity of different plants inside the farm, then you bring a balance, a harmony. So you normally need to use pesticides.
All right.
or chemical fertilizers, because everybody has a room to stay, and the balance makes it that the plants grow naturally.
And they're protecting and fertilizing
Yes,
each other.
we grow flowers in our garden to like attract some beneficial insects. So I was kind of, okay, let's start with the water tower, because water is the number one source that help us like keep the garden in production. So let me start by bringing some good vibes just beneath the water tower. This is the symbol. It's actually spiral. Oh, this is the number. It's a number actually. It's called the golden number, the golden section. So I'll be planting the flowers like this.
Yeah.
Till I come here to the middle. And that's the golden section that the ancient Egyptian used to build the big pyramids. And I was amazing to see that in a voodoo shrine. So that means that traditionally, in the voodoo religion, traditionally, we use that. But how do we use that? I've never known. But so since I started agriculture, I told myself, okay, let me design the garden following the same pattern, and I will see how it works. We learned in the hard way. It was very hard. I told you that we are around a swamp there with snakes, big snakes, alligator.
Yeah.
You see someone living in town all his life who's never been to the bush.
Yeah.
And just like it was, even we were like, this area was not that, too much urbanized. Urbanization has grown very, very fast in the area. We used to rent a house back there in the forest, and one night we were like sleeping, and a python came in the room.
Ooh.
You see on the,
Yeah.
and the python came to lay just by our side, and we are like, oh my gosh, this is an amazing experience actually. But we are no more afraid of snakes. I mean, that's part of the initiation, actually. See, it's an initiation. How you learn to be familiar with nature. How you learn not to be scared of animals also. So it has been part of the journey too. So now we came here and say, okay, we found a place and we are going to make it our paradise.
So, Femí, you've been here for 7 months now. So, I'm curious, how do you think it will look in another 7 months from now?
I bet you if you come back here in 7 months, you will see hives around. A lot of hives around. To sell the honey, to sell the wax, to sell the pollen,
But
to sell
it's
the
also
royal
good
jelly.
for the plants, no? To have these.
Yeah,
around and-
I mean, yes, because we have bees, we have bee products also, but they help us in pollinating also in the farm. Anytime we have people coming in, we are happy because they will learn from us, but we will learn from them too.
Okay.
So anybody is welcome on our Facebook page. You just click the number is there. You can send us email. You can just send an SMS or on WhatsApp. It's the same number.
Is there an email address we can mention now? That people can write?
It's espoir. Espoir is hope in French.
Okay.
Dot and Jardin, like garden. It's at gmail.com.
Okay.
Yes, that's the email in case you want to get in touch.
So if anybody is interested in coming to learn some of these amazing things in traditional and modern agriculture, ecological agriculture, then write Femí an email. We have to bring along for you that I think you might find interesting to make use of here on the farm. It's a seed called chia. It has been used for more than 4,000 years in South America and Middle America. It has been kind of forgot about for some years and has been rediscovered. And in Europe, this is what they call superfood now, because it's extremely nutritious. I want to give you this, and I hope that you will try to teach people about it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And yeah, I'll also spread the knowledge about it. And thank you very much.
Great. Thank you for letting us in here and see what you are working with.
I try to make some order
That's why